Welcome to the Indie Horror Junkie podcast. Tonight, you will be joining Rotting Ricky and Asylum Amy as they play host to some of the true movers and shakers in the indie horror scene. So lock your doors, check under the bed, and get comfortable, because here we go.
And we're the Saskia sisters. And this is Indie Horror Junkie. Indie Horror Junkie.
Indie Horror Junkie.
Indie Horror Junkie.
Indie Horror Junkie.
Indie Horror Junkie.
Indie Horror Junkie.
Indie Horror Junkie.
We're a panic attack.
Indie Horror Junkie.
Indie Horror Junkies!
Indie Horror Junkie! Indie Horror Junkie! Indie Horror Junkie!
Hey!
Junkies, Asylum Amy, and Rotting Ricky in the house. Episode number 69 of the Indie Horror Junkie podcast. Wednesday night, we have some great people here on the show tonight. We're going to be talking about the indie horror film DeVour. But before we get into that, we're going to do a little housekeeping. So lots coming up. We're just going to go ahead and get right into MegaCon because MegaCon is on the brain. Rick and I are living and breathing MegaCon 24/7, 7 days a week. Our phones are going off. We're just trying to keep up because the party's getting wild. So let's just jump right into it. We will be at MegaCon in Orlando, Florida, February 6th, 7th, and 8th. Here we go. We are on the third floor, room S330C. We have 4 incredible feature film special screenings in addition to our 25 short film and feature films that are selected for the festival. On Friday, we have Mutilator 2, which is a follow-up to the original 1984 Mutilator. We will have Buddy Cooper himself, the writer, director, producer of 1 and 2, Ruth Martinez and Bill Hitchcock from the original, who are also in the second film as well, and Carl J. Grass will be there. We just heard Dan Grogan will be filming. He will not be there, but they will be in the house for a live panel Q&A after their film plays on Friday night. What else do we have? We have the Inn, you guys. This is our baby right here, Central Florida, produced by the Greasy Boys. This is an up-and-coming indie horror slasher. We're excited for this. This will be the first premiere that we've played in front of an audience, so definitely excited to get your feedback. We have a score on this film from Paul Wiley, who you may know. He scores Terrifier 2, Terrifier 3, the original Terrifier, Stream. So lots of great music and score to go along with this slasher right here. And this plays on Saturday. The Fetus, there we go. Lauren Lavere right there on the cover. You know and love her from, again, the Terrifier franchise. And this film is from writer, director, producer Joe Lom, and he's going to be having a screening of this feature film as well, The Fetus. This is going to be on Friday. Lauren Lavere, Bill Moseley. So another fun film. And again, you guys, these are in addition to all of the films that are in the film festival themselves. These are just special screenings. Saturday is our huge event. On Saturday night, we have special cast and crew. This is going to be a fan screening with a panel to follow. We have Stephen Lamorte and Amy Schumacher. They are the creators and lead actress and producers of this film. We also have Allison Patel, Jesse Cove, and producer of Fuzz on the Lens. From Fuzz on the Lens, Michael Levy. You know him from the Stream franchise, the Terrifier franchise. the house is going to be packed. So if you're in the area or if you want to come down and network and see some incredible indie horror films from all over the world and be a part of these special screenings, that is where we'll be. We also have a special Lifetime Achievement Award that we're going to be giving out to our friend Joe Castro, special effects makeup artist. He's been in the game for several decades now. He's going to be there all weekend hanging out with us. And he's actually going to be doing a live special effects demonstration on Sunday at 12:30. That'll be in front of our theater. So we locked down our model for that today. If you know indie horror, you know who Joe Castro is because he's involved in just endless amounts of films. So we're really excited and honored to have him come down from California to spend the weekend with us and for you guys to come meet him. So if you're in the area or at MegaCon, definitely come to the 3rd floor and see us. What else we got, Rick? We got
We've also got our new movie.
The Clock is written and directed by yours truly right here, Rick Danford. You're going to see lots of familiar faces in this film, distributed by Bayview Entertainment. We're on several streaming platforms at this point. I can name a few of them. I can't name all of them. You have Amazon Prime, Vudu, Plex, Flix, just to name a few. Now we have Blu-rays, so you can come and get your copy at MegaCon. We have plenty of those right there. And we also have some limited edition film festival shirts. Do we have a slide for that, Rick?
Yes, of course I do. Right there, just in case you guys, so you don't have to come naked. You can just log onto our website, pick up.
I mean, if you want to, that's cool. It's tons of cosplay. Probably some of the best cosplay that you'll see in the country happens at MegaCon. So, limited edition, we just have a special run of these. So, if you get to come to MegaCon, you can hit us up after the show to see if we have any left over. But yeah, there you go, you guys. We are 2 weeks away. In 2 weeks, I'll be in Orlando, getting myself together for the show. And then we set up on Thursday and go full blast Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So we hope that you guys can make it out. If not, we'll be back to full report, everything that was there, everything that happened, tons and tons of pictures and video. We're going to be getting coverage on, and don't forget to pick up issue number 14 of the magazine with Screenboat on the cover. Again, we're super excited for this. There's exclusive photos that we were lucky enough to be able to release of David Howard Thornton getting into his costume for this film, playing Screenboat Willie. And our guest tonight, actually, the film DeVour has a nice spread. So get your digital copy at indiehorrorjunkie.com. You can get your physical copy. We'll put it in the mail. These are going quick. We're going to have them on hand, issues 1 through 14 at MegaCon. So if you're in the house, get one each. See what's going on.
All right. I say we go ahead and jump right into it. We've got a load of guests here waiting for us to come up. So we're going to show you a quick trailer from the movie DeVour. And once again, that's got a nice little spread in issue 14. If you want to pick that up, we can mail it to you if you order on the website. Or if you want to come out to MegaCon next month, you can pick it up live. But first off, let's show you the trailer. And when we come back, we'll have them on board for you. So here's the trailer for DeVour.
Behold, the fall, the collapse of Babylon, fall of the Tower of Man. When the stars careen from the heavens, and the dead walk the earth.
That's my kind of trailer.
Yeah, that's one hell of a trailer, you guys. Welcome to the show. We have special guest here tonight from DeVour. I see Scott Hansen joined us. Thank you so much for coming on tonight. We just want to talk anything and everything horror with you, get into the details of this film and what it was like to make it and the inspiration behind it and all the good stuff about, what it is that you do. So Scott, why don't you give us a synopsis without giving too much away and tell everybody what this is about?
I think we just wanted to make a weird ass movie about 4 chicks in a metal band who are vampires. And they're down in a small town full of cannibals led by a warlock. And, we have some dark comedy styles with the kind of filmmaking we like, but we like intensive gore and big monsters. And I don't know, we just kind of wanted to make something fun, and I think this whole process has been a lot of fun, a long time. Unfortunately, just due to it being indie, but we're like almost there. So,
this is a huge production from what I just saw in that trailer. So, we're all filmmakers in this room. That's a big production. You guys were really doing it. So, tell us about this creature.
And there's all kinds of creatures.
It's not just the big wolf-looking one.
Yeah, there's a werewolf that was made by Wayne Anderson, who did The Predator and Avatar 2 and Tomorrow War. He's a buddy. He did some Bad Candy stuff for us, so he was pretty awesome. And then we have a 13-foot Minotaur. She's pretty big too. And then we have a 10,000-pound woman played by Corey Crowley. And then we have sirens, vampires. It's all kinds of magical beings, I guess, in this one town. We kind of wanted to humanize the vampires. Every time you watch Twilight or whatever, you know what I mean? They're just too strong, and it's glowing, and I don't know. I was just like, our vampires get fucked up pretty good, And
so you're telling me that your vampires don't sparkle?
They don't sparkle. They don't run on trees. They don't run fast. Basic, but they're all funny. Like, they're funny, really character based. We took a long time casting. We took like 6 months to cast, and it kind of just all came together like happy accidents. Like, it was crazy how it worked out. So.
You definitely have a great cast here, and I saw a really nice blend of both practical special effects and visual special effects. So there's just I watched that teaser trailer a few times today because you can't catch everything first go around. You have to watch it a few times. So I feel like this is going to be one of those movies that's a rewatch because you just can't catch it all the first time. Those are my favorite. I love a good film where I can watch it a few times and still be in love with it and find new things to be in love with every time I see it.
Yeah, and I think we have the full trailer comes out in like June, I heard. So there's a 2.5 minute trailer, your standard regular that shows the story. But yeah, this is kind of, hey, this is what we made. We're all freaking crazy, and I think it's gonna be I think it's the rough cut and coloring and getting it, and we had a few pickups last week, and I even took Gus to an asylum for 2 hours in the middle of Georgia.
Yeah, not my first time being there.
Me and JR was our set designer. We like broke in. It was awesome. Like, that's the level we're at. But we made it look good, and the process is fun. Like, who was that telling? Oh, I'm telling Caitlin, hey, bail us out because.
Ready. I was gonna come for you guys. I don't know what excuse I was coming up with, but I was coming to get you.
You were about to squeeze all of us in your little sports car.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. I gave her the heads up because I knew we were going to, we needed some cool shots of this asylum for a pickup shot, and
dude, it had everything. It had broken windows, lights going off and on by themselves, bloody handprints on the windows.
Oh, yeah, it was
perfect.
You didn't even have to do a set design. You just walked in and filmed, huh?
Yeah, we just got some exteriors and stuff. But, it's been that kind of movie, like 46 days, which is crazy for an indie. Most of the indie movies I've shot or been a part of are like 10 or 15. But we have like full days for the werewolf. You know, it can only do so much, and you got cabling and controls and stuff, and you know, it's there's a lot of stunts. I mean, it definitely feels like a big $1 million movie, but it's really not at the end of the day. So.
And you said you took 6 months to cast. How big is this cast?
Like 6 or 7 main leads, and then there's I don't even know. That's a great question. There's a lot. There's probably at least a couple hundred people in this whole movie.
Wow.
A lot of extra.
Yeah, how big is the cast, John?
That's a lot of paperwork.
I'm like 6'2".
We got a crazy scene at the end that's, I hope, blows everybody's minds. Literally, like it's gonna be. We're still filming that piece because it takes so long. We got like 30 head explosions, like scanners. You know what I mean? So
nice.
We're like halfway through with that. But,
what's the body count so far? Have you lost track?
No, I think it's up in the 200 range. Easy. Yeah, easy. Yeah.
Fucking apocalyptic movie.
It's been a lot of fun, you know, like it was an Indigo at first, and we got some traction, and you know, we had Gavin early on. He was in Bad Candy and Seven Dust and all kinds of. We always worked with Gavin, and then he became really famous on us, so that helps us out. And now he's the lead in you know, Righteous Gemstones on HBO, so he's killing it. And Caitlin's in German number 2, you know. John.
I gotta get him up on my Righteous Gemstones.
Oh yeah, he's young Danny McBride. He's in every season.
I love that.
And did I see it right? Where you actually also have somebody from one of my favorite bands, the Butcher Babies?
Yeah, Heidi. Heidi was great. Heidi was we actually had Alyssa before, Alyssa White Glutz from Arch Enemy, and we couldn't get her here, and it just didn't work out. And so Heidi was like the second choice, and so she did a great audition, and she's already a part of a metal band, so the energy was crazy. And we do, and Caitlin learned drums for like 2 months or something. Like
so good at drums.
Did you really, Caitlin?
Did a demo before the show.
I did have to take lessons. Yeah. No.
I mean, she's trying to pull it off, and it's not easy to
have an excuse. Like somebody, you know, to have an excuse to go learn to play the drums. That sounds good to me.
No, it was so much fun.
It's
and
not easy.
Butcher Babies are playing in Tampa. Huh?
What'd you say?
Oh, I was telling Rick he loves Butcher Babies. They're playing in Tampa here within the next month or so at the Orpheum, so we should go.
They're great. Yeah, they're
Everybody
awesome.
come down to Tampa. We're going.
All right, well, Scott, I've got some stills here. What I'd like to do is bring them up. We got a few of them.
Sure.
And as I bring each one up, if you can kind of give us a description of what's happening or what you can tell without giving too much away, so we can show the people what you've got in store, okay? All right, here we go.
That is Chelsea.
One of the 200 plus deaths, I'm assuming?
No, she's one of the main. She's the guitarist, and yeah, that's like 3 degrees outside.
Oh, covered
in blood. So she's a trooper in this shot. I think we almost killed her, but she. Okay, this is oh man, what's his name? He's gonna kill me. Don't forget his name. He plays Fat Carl. Yeah. Great actor. Jimmy. Okay, Jimmy. Yeah, great actor. He plays band promoter in the movie. So
very cool.
This is Jerry. He is the manager of the band.
Yeah, I smoked weed for like 12 years to get ready for this role.
Yeah. This scene is gonna gross some people out. I can't wait for people to see this one. This is a great scene in a bathroom.
All right, I'm gonna earmark that one there.
Yeah, this is May, our female werewolf. She is a badass. She's really mean too. This is Chelsea. Yeah, it's Chelsea. Early in the first scene we filmed. This is Alexandra. Yeah, she's from Bad Candy, which connects to this movie. Yeah, she is freaky right there.
That's a great shot.
There's the Minotaur.
Yeah, that's our Minotaur. About to kill some people.
Yeah, you can't really have an apocalyptic movie without a Minotaur, I'm assuming.
Nope. True.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Minotaur except for like Tenacious D.
There you go. Yeah.
And ours is way cooler than theirs, I think. But this is the cemetery for New Salem. It's a fictional town from the Bad Candy movie, which is the first movie.
Yeah.
This is May the Werewolf.
So cool.
It's like me on a Monday.
It's Caitlin. She was, well, I can't say what she was doing, but she was misbehaving.
Looks like it.
This is our license plate.
That's the name of the band.
This was the original title, but distribution made us change it. So we went to DeVour, unfortunately. But I still like DeVour, but I was pulling for Virginia Bitches. That would have been fun. But I get it. Apple doesn't like cuss words. And this our Warlock, played by Guy Messenger. Yeah, he's awesome too.
A beautiful shot. Oh my gosh.
This is Steve Walenda, this wizard guy. I always forget his name. He's great too. And then the middle guy is Jacob Shimate, who is really ascending pretty big right now too. He's making a name for himself. Great actor. Just has a crazy look. He was a great audition we did not expect. And he's actually one of the main villains holding the board. That is Gus, and we were. This is like a Civil War flashback. That's pretty fun.
So Gus, you play in the prequel scenes, and then you come to the.
Yeah, I actually showed up for the audition in a Civil War costume, so it was a bit serendipitous.
Yeah, he's the older vampire that kind of started everything. So, this is the Warlock as well, kind of becoming himself. That's a very cold day too. That was like 10 degrees in that water.
Crazy water.
That's like a blood tank. Yeah, it's a goo.
The soup room.
Soup room. That's what it's called. That's the bar. You see how big she is. It's very underworld.
Crazy.
Meets Dog Soldiers. I'm a huge fan of Dog Soldiers. Probably my favorite werewolf movie. And we wanted that slender vibe and just like good movement. And she actually runs in full body, which you don't see at all in werewolf movies unless it's CG. And so we definitely have some shots of her running, and it's like I remember filming it, and I'm like, this thing is crazy when it's running.
It is scary. Like in person, it is scary.
It's so cool.
Massive. I remember when we were putting the magazine together, issue number 14, hey Dylan, and I saw that picture for the first time, and I was like, what is this movie? Like I immediately went online, went straight to like, who are these people? Where in the world have they been? Because you guys are doing some crazy stuff that we're not really seeing a whole lot of out there going on in the industry right now. There's lots of slashers. There's lots of horror comedies. This obviously has that undertone of comedy to it, which I feel like you can't go wrong with horror and comedy. But what you're doing is so different. All these elements, all these characters. And that's the Civil War shot that I saw at the beginning of the teaser trailer. That was beautiful. Tell us about that. I mean, that was a whole different, a whole different vibe, a whole different aesthetic. And how does that all tie in?
Scott, tell everybody that that's not AI, because everybody thinks.
I know. Everybody keeps asking me if that's stock footage. I'm like, no, I really shot that big scene with
those are beautiful shots.
200 people. It's a place in South Carolina, and all these reenactors, they fucking love the Civil War stuff, and I'm always there filming every year for them. And I was just like, hey, can I borrow you guys for like 20 minutes? And everybody's get on their horse and walk that way, and I just got a crazy slow-mo shot. Awesome. And they let me set them up for like an hour. That's all they gave me because I couldn't pay anybody. I was like, hey, I'll make y'all look really cool, and they love the Civil War.
So you caught that at one location and then got insert shots of Gus and the other people.
Yeah. So we did Gus's stuff with a smaller platoon on a different day, and then I had the reenactment, which was like probably 30,000 soldiers. Like, it was crazy, and they only gave me about maybe I want to say like 1,800, which was crazy because it's like me and this guy named Chris Roll and Desiree, and then we're just on a bullhorn yelling at people like, look that way, and walk the horse, and
That's incredible,
really
though. Like,
cool.
you're kidding me?
Yeah, and they're walking for us, and I got a ton of slow-mo shots of horses and stuff, and it was just like, I'm a huge history buff, and I love when you see vampires or period pieces, and they kind of touch on that. And the movie starts off, the opening scene is Civil War. So yeah, it's Gus has an extended history, throughout the ages, and
it goes back even a little bit farther than that, maybe.
It does, yeah, it does. It's a medieval as well. So yeah, it's cool.
You definitely did a beautiful job on capturing those shots. It's really impressive, and your ideas behind it. It's very, very cool. And I heard you mention that this ties into another film called Bad Candy.
Yes.
Yeah, Bad Candy was our first movie in 2021 that had Corey Taylor and Zach Galligan, Corey from Slipknot. And there are two radio hosts telling scary stories. And we actually had Sid Haig casted before he passed away. So it was going to be Sid Haig and fucking Corey Taylor. And but that would have been crazy because I'm a huge Sid Haig fan, but he sadly passed away after we had him locked. And Corey did amazing, though. Slipknot's a massive band. And then, we shot that movie, and it came out, won a bunch of awards and festivals, and it came out during the pandemic, though. So it was kind of I think we released in like 50 drive-ins, which was hilarious, because everybody was still scared to go to the movies. Right. It was just a weird time. Think about it now. I'm like, it is such a strange time to live in, as we all experienced, Yeah. Especially for a movie to come out, because all the movies were tanking. So, but yeah, this is it's a 5-movie plan actually, and it's all about it's a horrorverse. So it's like our own little Marvel vibe, but just horror based about these two towns, New Salem and Crimson City, and it's a 5-movie plan. So we're just. I've worked with big studios. I've done thousands of music videos and did my time in LA, and now I live in Georgia, and we have a studio, and I'm just all about making our own content because I feel like that's what it's going to now. And I don't work for studios. Like we don't do anything for any big studios anymore, but that was my job for a while. And, I feel like you get lost in the mix. You become a pawn, a coffee person, like it's just tough. Like it's tough to get your art made. So we just make our own shit, and we just try to find weird ass fucking people to come with us and go on like a weird excursion, and that's just how we make movies. And this one's getting a lot of hype, and rightfully so, because it's 46 days for a freaking indie movie is insane. That's crazy. Yep. And I think John did a post last week. He was like, my 13th month committed, and I was like, it's been 15 months, like off and on, and it's truly like indie at heart, because we've probably run out of money 5 or 6 times, and I'll have to go do a music video, luckily, or a studio rental, and then I'm like, hey, we can film next week. It's totally weekend warrior movie. Never had the luxury of filming all the way through, so which makes it tough.
That's the beauty of going indie, and because there's no rules, you do it your way on your time, you get it done, you don't lose creative control. If you want to go back and do pickup shots or switch it up, you get to do whatever you want. It's yours. And it allows you to hold on to the art and ideas in a way that studios can sometimes take away. So that's what we love about indie, and you guys found your weirdos here on this platform. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that you could come on and tell everybody about this because it is such a cool, interesting concept. And just hearing how it's its own universe now, like I want to go back and watch Bad Candy. Like, what's that? I want to, watch
Yeah,
this.
go watch it. Bad Candy's funny too, and gory, and it's fun.
And for the actors, after Scott said this was a 6-month process, what was the audition process like for you guys? For all the actors watching out there.
Who wants to go first?
You can.
Okay, all right, I'll take the floor. It was cool. It was pretty straightforward and easy going. Scott was like, "Hey, I got this role." They tried to get 2 other people for it, but they just weren't, I guess, finding what they needed or something along those lines. So he's like, "Hey, just come and do a camera test, and we'll just see if you work for it." And it was me and Gus, and it's funny. It's like you think you know people and like you get an idea of who they are. But I remember Gus, dude. I did a whole 180 on you. You're like the biggest teddy bear ever. Anyway, so yeah, we did the table read, and I thought it went pretty good. I was really excited because I've worked with Scott plenty of times before, and I wasn't on set very often. At the time of shooting it, everything was so slow. So I was like, man, I can't wait to get back on set again. And the audition went good. It was super smooth. And he told me, I got the role, and it went on from there.
There you go. What about you, John?
Hey, Marcus.
I'd worked together on a couple things. We did a music video together, and he DP'd on another movie that I was one of the leads in. So he reached out to me about it, and he said he knew he wanted me a part of it, but it was figuring out which role was kind of the good fit. And I think he kind of went back and forth on a couple of them until you eventually just thrust me into Rip. And I'm really, really glad that's the route you went with.
That was a character you were really able to connect with.
It's a really fun character.
Very cool. What about you,
Rick Van Helsing? He's our Van Helsing character. So
all right.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know Scott, but I was in his studio shooting a skit for somebody else, and I was dressed up like an old man, and he wasn't there, but I was I was tagging him in Instagram posts, and finally he was like texting Desiree, and he's like, "Who is this girl? She's crazy." And like 3 weeks later, he was like, "Do you want to audition for my movie?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I auditioned for a couple different characters, went in and did like a chemistry read. He told me he was going to need me for 8 days, and I think I've shot for 107 so far.
For 8 years.
I'm kidding though. Like it's my favorite movie that I've ever shot. So
well, that says a lot, Scott.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'll stay.
Yeah, I just saw her, and she was playing this old man character thing.
This crazy bald head.
Yeah, it was a comedic thing, and I love comedy. Like I live for that, and I was like, you'd see her range was crazy, and she was just pretty funny, and you could see it in the scenes. She's definitely a very fun vampire.
I'm kind of a
bully.
bully.
Really well. So
I'm a little bit of a bully.
And comedy as an actor, I feel like either comes naturally to you or you doesn't. You can't force it. And if you do, it's not funny because comedy is just everyday stuff, but it's, funny people. It's just not something that can be forced or it doesn't come off grounded or authentic. So if you've got it and you can use it and give it that nice undertone and throw it into some horror, then I'm with Scott. I love a good comedy. I love a good horror comedy. So it makes me even more excited to see this. So it sounds like you guys all, crossed paths at the right time or knew each other from other projects. What about you guys?
Mr.
Acorn Man.
I came across the words Virginia bitches and was like, what the fuck is
I'm
that?
in.
And I read the description and I was like, oh, I got to audition for that. Didn't know anybody. Was like, hey, this is me. This is how I roll. What do you think? And they invited me in to read with Gavin. And I was like, this guy, I could act with this guy.
Yeah.
Was this on Actors Access, the breakdowns?
Yeah.
I remember this. I applied to this. This is all coming back to me now. That's funny. Okay. Yeah.
Gus was like a perfect like example of like why auditioning is such a rewarding process, because we were struggling to find a Jerry like in the movie. We were fiending hard, and we had to start in a few weeks, and we were just, I think we looked at like 400 different Jerrys, honestly. And Gus like had just a fun chemistry and look about him. And when I saw it with Gavin, I was like, oh, that's it. You know,
awesome.
Once you see the chemistry test, like, I'm sure we'll have those like on the behind the scenes stuff or something good. But you can it's a boyish, fun, Big Brother vibe right away. It's kind of funny. It's pretty fun.
You could probably make a whole other feature film just out of the BTS for the amount of days that you guys have filmed, honestly.
I know, right?
And I'm not saying that is a, you know, whatever. I'm just saying, like, use it for your marketing and get it out there. That's kind of a beautiful thing to have all that coverage of just the process on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, not for nothing, but like I've made a lot of movies and they're always rewarding. They're not always this much fun.
That's true. That is so valid. This is like we're there 12 hours. It does not feel like 12 hours because we've gotten so close to each other that it's like hanging out with all your best friends.
I live in Scott's basement now, so
Scott actually doesn't know. This is the first time Scott's finding out.
Yeah. I was going to say, it does sound like a fun shoot. I mean, 12 hours. I mean, all these half-day shoots. That's good stuff.
The hard part was you have 4 female leads who are vampires who need hair and makeup and fangs. And that is like 3.5 hours gone right there. I'll be honest. Like that is each day was like really like maybe 8.5, 7.5 hours. That was a big challenge. And I didn't, because they got to look good. You know, they got to look like vampires and have the right complexion. And if it's not easy with 4 female leads and, you know, we're an indie crew, we don't have a whole makeup department to, you know, 3 people for one. We had like 2 people for everybody, I think. But that was a challenge. And I think that's why the days became so many, because we could only get like 1 or 2 scenes done a night. You know, we were trying to, you know, and that's the other thing about being indie is like, you know, you take your time. We're not on a massive deadline, but you know, time is money. So
speaking of that and getting into makeup and everything else, how was it for this bad boy?
Oh man, he Oliver is about 6'3", 6'4", and he works at it's the biggest haunt in Atlanta. I forget the name.
Is it Netherworld? Oh yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm.
So he's a Netherworld actor, and he does a lot of still walking, and I think it was like about an hour and a half to get into the suit fully all the way, and you know, you have to like close up the pieces and connect everything on the top. And walking in that thing is not easy, so it's definitely tough.
I think I mentioned to you, Scott, when we first started talking, a quick little thing that just totally blew my mind, but when you mentioned Bad Candy, I remember during our early conversations, I used to run a film festival called the Halloween Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
We showed your Bad Candy there. So you and I communicated years ago when you submitted to us. And that was one of the finalists for our show. That was a great movie. I still have that. I got to watch that again.
Yeah, check it out.
It's such a small world.
I will tell you a funny story about the werewolf costume.
Please.
So Wayne made it in Florida. And his Hurricane Ian hit like a year ago or whatever, and flooded his house, and the werewolf costume floated away into Lake Okeechobee. Wow. So there's our $60,000 werewolf costume somewhere in the middle.
We just barely survived 2 of those flooded hurricanes down here.
Yeah, and it floated away and never came back, so he had to remake it, which took forever. And luckily, we had insurance. We could make a claim because, you know, it's $60,000-$70,000 suit. Like we spent most of the budget on 2 monsters. half of the damn budget was 2 monster suits, honestly. The other suit is out there in some alligator's stomach or just in the middle of the Everglades. It's so funny.
I'll put in a good word and see if we can figure out which gator ate it.
It's out. Oh yeah, it's one of your meth gators for sure. But I just thought that was funny because it was terrible as well because his house got damaged and all that. But we were laughing about, hey, there's an amazing werewolf costume somewhere in Florida. So,
I think Ian was back in 2017. Does that timeline make sense?
no, it would be 2 years ago. Maybe I'm mixing it up. It was last summer or whatever. 2023, the summer of 2023.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
Yeah, there was 2 bad ones. And then his house got flooded again this year. So I don't know. Wayne might have to move soon.
Yeah.
Get out of the flood zone, Wayne.
Yeah, I've got family in Tampa. My sister lives in a town and country, and she probably got 4 or 4.5 feet of water in her house.
Oh yeah, it was crazy here, and I've lived in Florida my entire life. I've lived through the hurricanes. This is the first one that I was terrified for. Like I was actually down in the hallway. I peeked out the one little tiny crack of a window that I did not board up, and we have huge oak trees out here, and they were just bent over in half. I was like, oh my god! But so many people in this area, the flooding is what was so much damage. That and the amount of trees they came down.
Oh yeah.
I mean, people's refrigerators were floating in their house because it's 4 to 6 feet. So I definitely understand how that huge could disappear.
So where are you at with this project? What's the plan with it? What's going on? Give us an update.
Yeah, so it should be dropping around September, or they might, if we can make an October slate. I know we'll be at Cannes International Market in France. So I know I plan to go there, and it's not the festival, it's just like an international market. So you basically screen the movie to buyers, and I try to go every year. And it's actually how I got the pitch sold. I did get some money up front from distribution when I pitched the movie 3 years ago at Cannes. And yeah, I don't know. I just did a pitch.
Let's go. I just updated my passport. Let's go, bro.
Yeah, dude. We'll be there. You fly into Heathrow and you take the train down to Cannes, and it's just a great networking event. But Cannes is like the NFL draft for filmmakers selling their films, basically for international markets.
I went there once, and it was an amazing trip.
Oh yeah, it's so beautiful, and there's Uber copter to the yacht parties, which is I got crazy videos of Uber copter. They just pick you up and drop you off of the yachts, and then you fly back to the coast. Like it's cool. It's just 5-star easy steak restaurants, and you just watch movies and meet movie people and actors. And there's a ton of famous actors you run into, which is kind of crazy. And when you're in a different country, it's different. Like you run into Brad Pitts and all those people. Like they're just fucking walking around, and it's crazy. Like it's kind of
next year, Amy, we're going.
Yeah, that's a big one. And the Berlin Alley is a really big one as well.
Yeah, Berlin. Yeah. We won't be done in time for Berlin, but we are with Raven Banner.
Yeah, I think that comes up like this month, next month.
Yeah, that's February 22nd. But yeah, that's the start of the year basically, Berlinale, and then yeah, Raven Banner will be there. They did like VHS 94. Train to Busan for Canada, and Wolf Cop, and all kinds of great little indie. The Void, I think they were a part of.
It's crazy networking there too. I think last year they honored Steven Spielberg and Kristen Stewart was the host. I was like, what's everybody doing? Just hanging out.
That's cool. Yeah, that's cool. So, but I recommend if anybody wants to ever get into filmmaking, like think about going to AFM in Vegas. Or go to Cannes, or try Sundance. It's fun. It's definitely eye-opening for sure. So you can learn a lot too.
You just never know.
I think the worst part of that is the 9-hour flight over there.
Yeah.
You just go night, Rick, and then you wake up and you're there.
Yeah, because we went there, and then we went to France and stayed in Nice, and then from Nice we just took the train to Cannes.
Yeah, the train is beautiful along the coast. It's crazy. It's like very epic.
Yeah.
I have a question for some of the cast, and we can go in whatever order you guys want to. What was like a memorable moment for you, or one of your most memorable moments while filming?
Oh my God.
Probably a lot because you guys had so much fun. But is there anything that sticks out or something
Everything. I mean, it's every single day that we would go to set, Scott would throw some type of insane idea that seemed completely impossible, and we'd make it happen. So every day on set is some type of radical adventure. He's like, "Oh, we're just gonna light this building on fire, and you're gonna walk through it and kick flaming doors down, and rubble's gonna fall on." Like
that was cool. That was
and then we did it. It was awesome. Or you're gonna have this fight scene in waist deep blood pool, and then we do it. It was something insane and off the rails every day. I mean, it's the wildest thing I've ever worked on by far. So I wouldn't even know where to begin picking the most memorable. The whole thing has been such a wild ride.
I can see how that would be difficult. And that's just kind of a nod to you, Scott, creating not only just an interesting kind of off the beaten path film in your own way, incorporating all the things that you love. Hi, Peter, but also creating a culture and environment for the cast and crew to show up and be able to do their job and not feel like they're walking on eggshells or any of that. Because, you know, if you're part of the crew and you're part of the cast, you want to be able to show up and it feel like a family, and you want to know that it's a safe environment, and you want to know that you can trust the person that you're working with. And it sounds like you did a really good job of that. So hats off to you, because that's not on every set. But, you know, for Rick and I, that's a big priority for us, that, you know, the culture of the set, making it fun, making it safe. But it just sounds like I'm happy for everybody that got to be a part of this. It sounds just
it's
like
very collaborative too.
Yeah,
it's very collaborative, because, like, you know, like, I think 80% of getting that epic frame is like getting the right actor and the right wardrobe and the right set, and then, you know, working with talented people that bring something that you didn't think about, and then when you put it all together and you're about to hit record, you know, there's like, oh, what if we tried this? And, you know, you just put people in the right set pieces, and like magic happens all the time. And I'm huge. I love that. Like, I love very collaborative, you know, like this movie, extremely collaborative. And, you know, Gus has like, you know, he was like our Vince Vaughn. He had all kinds of freaking lines that are not even written in the movie, that he just, like, you know, it just popped out randomly, and I'm like, wow, that's pretty awesome, you know.
Hey, I'll piggyback on what both of y'all said, Scott and Amy. Like, as an actor, I'll call myself an artist. We'll go ahead and get that pretentious. As an artist, it is such a great opportunity to feel like you can actually like play around and find some moments. And yeah, I mean, we've said the word collaborative 10 times. It felt collaborative, and that's such a gift. You know, to get to actually play around and find some things while all working towards the same goal. Like, thank you, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole thing just has felt like a sort of a mad science experiment. I mean, it's just everybody just shows up, and Scott will have this wild idea. I mean, he kind of knows what he wants, which is great to have in a director. He comes in with this crazy great idea, and then you've got this team of just insane scientists just pouring shit into a bowl trying to figure out how to make it happen. And by God, it brings out amazing ingenuity out of incredible artists and just makes magic happen. And that's kind of what the whole thing is. It's just kind of chasing these magic moments and stitching them together is really what this movie's sort of been.
And I want to piggyback off that real quick, because one of the things that I've been seeing a lot when I look at documentaries or interviews and stuff about movies, where they talk about things that just come up that weren't scripted. Was there any situation or anything that happened that just was an ad-lib thing that just was not scripted, and it's like, oh my God, that's a keeper, that you can remember that just wasn't part of the original script?
Yeah, I remember I was just watching this scene earlier where because our vampires, their fangs come out when it's like, you know, they're on alert. And I think Gus just says something randomly to Alex in the van. The van is driving, and he's like, he's like, we only pop Fang when things get interesting.
Yeah,
and I didn't even tell him to say that line. And it was so freaking funny that totally stayed in the movie. Pop Fang when things get interesting. And that was just kind of a funny thing I remember he did. There's all kinds of little things here and there. And I think Caitlin kills like the most people, actually. She has lots of.
So Caitlin's got the highest body count. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
For you, Caitlin.
Well, her and John, I don't know. John's right up there too.
I feel like John and I have definitely were like neck and neck there.
Yeah, it'll be a battle. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to count them up all when it's all done.
That might be an idea for one of our awards for next year's film festival. Highest body count. You know, for a movie. There's an idea.
Right there.
Come up with all these little unique little awards for next year. So that's
like we do well there.
He likes giving me more work. Amy, I'll count every single kill and every single film.
Well, they said they got like 200 plus body count. So yeah, that's got to be an idea. Well, good deal. So let me ask you a question, Scott. How deep do your horror roots run? In other words, has that all you've ever wanted to do, all you've ever been involved, or are you pretty much any genre, whatever excites you, whenever an idea comes up, or are you just pretty much hardcore horror? And if so, where did that start?
Yeah, I actually started working for a haunted house when I was 13. I made a costume and I broke into the haunted house and I started scaring people who were like 10 years older than me. And they were like, who the fuck is this little kid? Let's give this little punk a job. And so they gave me a job, like $5 an hour. And I got to scare people. And I came back every year. And then I ended up going to art school for comic books. I was trying to be a comic book artist. I've drawn forever for like, I've like 10,000 drawings. I just don't get a lot of time anymore. But
Scott's storyboards are so sick.
Yeah, they are.
I draw a lot, and that took me to school and all that. But yeah, I just like I just love it. I don't know, like I'm a big horror fan, but I love sci-fi. I just can't afford to get there yet, but one day the goal is to be sci-fi horror. I have a couple scripts, but they're all, to make a good sci-fi horror, you need like 10 million plus for it to be even relevant. I feel like horror, you can get away with more and be more creative, I think. My first movie was actually a drama, which is hilarious, but it didn't make any money, but it has like an 86 on Rotten Tomatoes, but nobody watched it, So I don't know. That was my first movie, was a drama. And I learned a lot. And when I was in LA making that, and but from there, yeah, I've just been a massive horror fan. But I'm also like a Halloween freak. I kind of like Halloween too much,
Too much.
We have that problem too.
Yeah, and I feel like there's not enough Halloween movies, and
Agreed.
There's like, everybody says Trick or Treat, and even Bad Candy, we got compared to Trick or Treat, and I'm like, that's just one movie. It's a whole genre, and I love Halloween movies. And if you see my house, you'd see the obsession and how pissed my neighbors are with like 8 freaking skeletons and those 12-foot skeleton things and everything you can think of. But I don't know. I just this movie is like so weird. It's Big Trouble in Little China meets like a crazy Tarantino vampire movie, like From Dusk Till Dawn, or something like that. It's just off the rails, lots of monsters, and just something I wanted to see.
Jersey.
So I think just something I wanted to see. But yeah, horror is definitely fun to make for sure. So.
Well, very cool. Is horror all of your favorite genre, or you guys pretty much got into this just because it was something that intrigued you, or what?
I love horror.
Yeah,
horror, yeah.
Too. I think I just like I didn't intentionally do a bunch of horror. I remember talking to somebody not too long ago, and they're like, yeah, so you really seem to like horror. And I'm like, well no, I like all types of things. And they're like, well, your IMDb page, you're in this, and they're all horror. And I'm like, oh, shit, I guess I am in a lot of horror. So I didn't intentionally fall into it, but it's definitely a lot of fun. So it's got to be one of my favorites for sure.
How about you, Caitlin?
Horror is one of my favorite genres to shoot, but I didn't even have intentions of being an actor, so I can't say that I got into this to make horror movies. That was an accident, but it was a very happy accident.
Gus?
Yeah, okay, quick story for you. My dad worked on Friday the 13th movies. He was a prop master. So when I was in like elementary school, I took one of the machetes from a multiple decapitation in for show and tell. And I got in a lot of trouble because apparently you can't take giant blades into school.
They frown on that.
Yeah, they frown on that, but they believed that I genuinely was just trying to bring a prop in, and I talked my way out of it. So I didn't get into
allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly this happened, I should say.
Right.
But you know, I've always had a connection to like filmmaking in general, and God, I do love horror. One of my first memories is that Johnny's got the keys. So, you know, like, yeah, I definitely love horror, man.
Yeah, the first movie I made was a movie called Web of Darkness, and it starred Tom Savini, and he did the special effects and stuff in Friday the 13th. I've known him for like 20 plus years now, so
nice.
Some
Yeah.
of the stories he has from Friday the 13th were amazing.
Cool,
but that's back when you had to make shit up. You know what I'm saying? He was telling you they didn't have this, they didn't have that, and let's just figure it out.
So like I do whatever people will pay me to do, but I love horror. So
good deal. All right, well, we're getting ready to close it up now. Is there any last thing you want to mention or tell people where they can find you and or the movie? Or
we got a Facebook page, Facebook's Our Movie. We have an Instagram, and then I think we have that's it for now. But we'll be posting a lot of content soon, and hopefully have a release date in September. So that's the plan.
Well, I can't wait to see it.
You guys have to come back on and show us the full trailer for that once it's ready.
Yeah.
Awesome. Please keep us posted. Maybe we can do a follow-up story in one of the upcoming issues too. So
that'd be great. Yeah.
All right. Well, sounds good. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. What we're going to do is we're going to take you off stage real quick so Amy and I can say goodbye to everybody. If you don't mind hanging out a minute or two, then we'll close the show out and come back and we'll say goodbye to you, okay?
Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you,
All right,
guys.
thanks again. We'll be right back with you. All right. I mean, the moment I saw the werewolf in that first teaser or whatever it is, I'm like, I've got to do something about this because it just looks too amazing. And
I'm excited about this one for sure. And definitely follow DeVour on socials. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram. This is a movie that you want to keep up with. Just an incredible filmmaker with huge ideas, and you're molding that with an amazing, talented cast. I personally cannot wait to see this. So DeVour, check them out. But that's it for us tonight. So we'll see you next week. And after that, I'll be streaming from MegaCon.
That's right.
Thank you guys for joining the show, and the Junkies are out.
See you next Wednesday.